When prop firms had just started, we only saw the traditional two-step challenge. Now fast forward to today and we can see a variety of different challenge options that traders can choose from. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining exactly what the trailing drawdown type is, because we typically do see this in the instant challenge offerings and also the one-step challenge. So I'm going to be explaining exactly what the trailing drawdown is. Let's get into it. Now, when explaining exactly what the trailing drawdown is, I'm going to be using Sway Funded as a case study. Now, when looking at Sway Funded, their definition of the trailing drawdown is the following. The drawdown is a trailing value at which is not about total losses incurred by closed orders, but by taking into consideration the difference between the maximum daily equity and the current equity when compared to 5%, which is the daily drawdown of the initial equity of the day, for the day rather. Now, they've given two formulas, so the daily drawdown threshold, the maximum daily equity minus the initial daily equity multiplied by 0.05, or the overall daily drawdown threshold, the maximum equity minus the initial equity times 0.10, which is the overall drawdown. Now, in simple terms, this means that if you are taking a trade that runs in profit, your daily drawdown would not be 5% from the balance, but it actually goes up in relation to the equity. Now, if you're still confused, I'm going to be going into two examples that they do explain. So example number one, the balance in this case is $100,000 and the maximum daily loss limit is $95,000 from the balance, 5%. The trader opens a position and gains 2%, so $2,000. So it's gone from $100,000 to $102,000 in equity. So it's not closed, it's equity. This sets a new high watermark, adjusting the maximum daily loss to $97,000. So as explained before, the daily loss does not stay at the balance, it actually goes up by $2,000. So in just reiterating, your equity is now $102,000 and your daily loss limit is now $97,000. The trader later turns negative and gets closed at 4.5% from the equity. So it's going down 4.5% from the equity, ending at 97,410. Now remember, the daily loss limit is 97,000 because the account was at 102,000 at its highest point. So in this case, the trader does not breach the daily loss limit as it was within the limits of the daily drawdown, which was 97,000. Let's get into another example. So again, the trader has a $100,000 account. Daily loss limit is 95,000. But in this case, again, he reaches 2% profit, which gets him to $102,000, which is a high watermark. And again, the daily loss limit is now 97,000. Later, the trader turns negative and at a distance of 4.9% from the current high watermark. So it drops from 4.95% from the 102,000. So in this case, the trader brought his account down to 96,951. So although the loss is only minus 3% from the initial equity of the day and 4.9% from the high watermark, it unfortunately breaches the daily loss rule since it reached because it breached below 97,000. Now I hope this clarifies what the trailing drawdown is. If you'd like me to do a video on how I would tackle the trailing drawdown, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll get into it. I hope you guys understand exactly what the trailing drawdown is now, and I'll see you in the next one.